and we've called it Power Living. And let me just give you the list. All of this I'm sure is familiar to you. Maybe I can show it to you in sort of a new way with a new concept. But here's my list. It's a list you can use in your training, passing it on to someone else. And here it is. The big D's. It works in every part of life, especially herbal life. It's hard for us not to talk herbal life when we talk life, spiritual life, social life, herbal life. It's so much a part of us now. It's so much a part of our whole selves and what's happening. But here's the list. The big D's. Number one is decision. And we've talked about that in this previous little discourse that I gave you. But decision making this is an awesome day. Deciding it will never be the old way again. Deciding to step from darkness to light. Deciding to step from inactivity to activity. Deciding to make the turn. Deciding to turn around. Deciding to live a new life. You cannot believe how much can open up to you the day you decide. Power living is decision making. Next is desire. Who knows the mystery of where this all comes from? Who knows why some people have unusual desire and some people it takes a while for it to cultivate? Here's what I do believe. The possibility for high desire that can create the most extraordinary life, I promise you, that resides in all of us. That resides in everybody. Sometimes it's been suppressed, sometimes brutally. Sometimes it's been denied because of circumstances. Sometimes because of influence. Sometimes because of an extraordinarily bitter or difficult family situation. The desire never gets a chance. It never sees the light of day. But sure enough, it does reside. And the reason why Herbalife is so exciting is because we find these people whose desire has never seen the light of day. They've never had something to where their heart leaps that they can hope for. And we come along and find these people. Now, sometimes we find them and sometimes they find us, but however it happens, it is a unique opportunity for us to perhaps awaken desire in someone so that it flourishes and grows and serves as an incredible force. And they were responsible because they made the decision, but we can take part of the credit because we found them. We opened the door, we opened the window, we handed them a piece of literature, we invited them to a meeting, we let the beginning words of our vocabulary start a process to where now they can have desire that can affect their lives forever. So the first D was decision, second was desire. Here's the third one that makes everything possible and turns imagination into reality, and it's called discipline. For some people, they see discipline as sort of an ugly word. Don't talk to me about discipline. But what you must understand is discipline is a most incredible creative force. Discipline builds a career. Discipline develops good health. Discipline forms the most incredible marriage. Discipline puts together a friendship that won't quit forever. Discipline develops skills that can be magnified, and touch the world. Discipline opens up music. You can't have incredible music without discipline. In fact, we call them the disciplines. We call architecture and music, and we call playing an instrument. We call sculpturing. We call painting. We call writing, composing. We call those the disciplines. And the disciplines gives us the indication that yes, it doesn't come except by discipline. But it also means that the discipline is the open door to the creative process to turn nothing into something and to turn imagination into reality. So here's what you must learn to do: appreciate the disciplines and welcome the disciplines. Here's a good question to ask. What other discipline could I begin that would open up a whole new expression in my life of turning imagination into reality? I had to learn the discipline of using my language to make a presentation. It took a while. I stumbled. I made mistakes. I couldn't get my thoughts organized. It would enter my mind and then it would go away. And I remember all of those strugglings to learn. My mother taught me a little piano. Here's the left hand. I got that pretty good. She says, now here's the right hand. No problem on those scales. Then she said, today we're going to do them both together. I thought, how can you do that? One hand was easy, another one was easy, but together, I'm looking at this hand, I'm looking at this hand, but finally I got them to work together. And I learned that extra discipline, and it worked for me. Now, she said, today we're going to read the music and play both hands. I thought, well, you couldn't do all that. So, but sure enough, I'm looking at the music, I'm looking at this hand, finally I got them all working together. Then she said, today we're going to watch the audience read the music and play both hands. I thought, well, now that is impossible. That's too many things to do at the same time. But guess what I found out? It didn't take long to where I could watch the audience read the music and play both hands. And a discipline then that became a joy. I play a little piano, mostly for my own amazement, not for the public. But anyway, it's exciting. Learning new disciplines that create joy, that create a painting, that create an orchestra, that create an herbal life. Mark had to put together his disciplines. And the disciplines that he had to bring together several elements, the products and the marketing and the people and the support system, and the rallies and the extravaganzas. All this stuff had to come together, incorporating other people's disciplines as well as his own, but in a disciplined way that creates an enterprise. Without discipline, there is no enterprise. Without discipline, there is no magnificent structure. Without discipline, there is no music. Without discipline, there is no health. Without discipline, there is no advantage. There is no future. So discipline is all when it comes to imagination, having something real, believing in it, and turning it into reality. Now let me give you the rest of these. Decision was first, desire was second, discipline was third. Here's number 4, development. The key to development is to be all that you can possibly be. I don't know what your talents are, I don't know what your skills are, but here's what I probably am right on, that you're behind on an accelerated effort toward your full development. I would suggest that. Now, for some of you, I know that's probably really not true. But even as I look at my own life, because, I'm tempted to procrastinate just like everybody else. I should have written 30 books by now. I've only written 4 or 5. I should have done a lot of things, but I haven't. I got distracted, and all of us, have these challenges. But what could I become? What could I become? I had one of my dearest friends. I've lost him. He died at age 53. One day, and he drank a little too much. David drank a little too much, but he did all kinds of things. He was a builder, and he was a dreamer, and he did a lot of things. But his drinking sort of kept him in a fog for like years and years. About 6 years ago, he was sitting at the yacht club, and he was in a fog, and suddenly it occurred to him, I wonder what I could have accomplished all these years if I hadn't have been in this sort of foggy state. And he said that did it. And the last 6 years before he died, he was free. And he accomplished some incredible things that last 6 years. Being all that you can be and not let habits drag you down. Not let things, sidetrack you from the full development of what you have the capable of being. What all could your heart encompass if you really had the chance and you really had the disciplines and really got to it? What could you really become? What could you earn? How healthy could you really be? How many books could you write? How many poems could you write? My granddaughter, Natalie, is 11, and she writes these most incredible poems. Someday I'm going to publish them. And of course, her brother Nathaniel is a classic gifted artist, and I think I'll publish some of her poems and his illustrations and his artistry. They're 11 and 12. They have become so much in so few years. And now my mind is wondering, I wonder how far they can go. I wonder how much they can accomplish. So here's what I would ask of you. If you feel that you're a little bit stalled, wherever you are, in your progress, I'm asking you to correct that. I'm asking you to see if you can't possibly be on a more accelerated track toward your possibilities and your full development. Here's what life is all about: to become all that we can possibly be. The full development of all of your potential, that's number one. Number two is the wise use of all of your resources. That's what life is all about, full development. Here's the next word: direction. Key phrase: we go the direction we face. So make sure that your vision, make sure that that's clear, because that's where you're headed. You know, what's most dominant in your vision, that's where you're going, you know, whether you realize it or not. So sometimes we need to clear that up so that the direction becomes more clear, becomes more powerful in really taking us where we want to go. Good phrase we've all heard: 5 years from now you will arrive. The question is where? And you say, well, I haven't really cleared that up. I'm asking you to clear that up, because if you don't, you may arrive at a much less of a place. Not that it wouldn't be okay, but much less of a place than you could have arrived if you didn't settle on the right direction before. Here's the next word, and I must hurry with the rest of these. Next is definition. A phrase I've used so long: the drama is in the details. Give things definition, give things clarity. That's what's important. Here's the next word: dilemma. We're faced with a lot of dilemmas. Part of the dilemma is learning to sort it all out: what's valuable, what isn't valuable. The why of life. And some whys, you know, cannot be answered. Some mysteries must remain mysteries. They're simply the part of life, but they are mysteries. It seems that this is the way it is to the best of our ability, and we must try our best to understand the dilemmas, but don't persecute yourself, and don't get too hard on yourself now if you don't understand it all, because nobody understands it all. Let part of the dilemma be dilemma. Figure out as much as you possibly can for your life and your children and your future and your business, but let mysteries be mysteries. Let some puzzles be puzzles. And let some of the whys just be whys. Somebody says why, it's just one of those whys. Next is delusion. Make sure you don't get faked out. There's an interesting story that says, don't build your house on the sand in the summer. Because when the sky is blue and the clouds are white, it's easy to get faked out saying, hey, everything is so fine, I'll just build my house on the sand. That would be a mistake. So we must every once in a while ask if we might not be participating in some delusions. I wrote this one time: affirmation without discipline is the beginning of delusion. We must affirm our disciplines. We must affirm the truth and not be deluded. The great prayer says, lead us around temptation so we won't be deluded by the allure. Something that tells us it's going to taste good now, but something tells us it might taste good now, but the old prophet said later it turns bitter in the belly. Next is destination. You've got to have some clear places that you want to go. Herbalife is the most stimulating influence I know of, especially when it comes to business, to help you to determine a good destination. Where in 6 months? What accomplishments in 6 months? Change your pin from one to another. Where in terms of reaching people? Where in terms of your ability to influence? Would you like to be 1 year from now, 3 years from now? If you will start clearing up that destination and make your dreams a little more clear, and it's good to just dream about being successful. It's good to just dream about being healthy and powerful. But if you can be a little more clear in your destination, that will help you to secure the direction it takes to get there. And now here's the last one that's vitally important, and I'll close with this, and it's called dignity. One thing Mark chose in the very beginning when he started Herbalife, he decided to live a life of dignity. He wanted to be able to say, I'm proud of the way I started. I'm proud of the way it's gone. I'm proud that I've overcome my mistakes. I'm proud that I've learned from others. I walk with dignity because of the people I've helped, because of the lives I've changed, because of the countries I've now gone into, planted the Herbalife flag, and rendered all this incredible service. I'm proud that I didn't let mistakes overwhelm me. I'm proud I walk with dignity because I can truly say I have sincerely done every meeting. I've sincerely wished the best for everybody. I have sincerely wanted to have a refined marketing system that rewarded everybody for the effort they put in. I sincerely want to change people's health for the better and give them a longer life and a better life. I sincerely wish to do that. And I wish to do it within the guidelines. I wish to do it within a framework that creates dignity and self-respect and company respect. And as I appreciate Mark Hughes more after these 20 years, and I knew him 2 or 3 before then, he walks with dignity. And we all are walking with dignity in this unique enterprise called Herbalife. But in your personal life, make it an absolute that whatever you do, when the final sentences are coined about you and your life, they will say, not only did you do it well, not only did you do it with skill, not only did you do it maybe around the world, but you did it with honor and you did it with dignity.